Has this ever happened to you? You bait a DP, and your automatic instinct and experience from other fighting games tells you to go for a punish, but in 2x KO, Darius is built different. He can mash on super, and you just die for it. And if it's not in 2x KO, you just fight any character that pisses you off so much and you don't know how to deal with them. Well, that's been Darius for me during 2x KO's Alpha Lab, and I need to figure out how to deal with it. So today I'm going to show off how to deal with a scrub killer step by step. This video will be showing off 2x KO as an example, but it's more so a tutorial to show you how to lab against a character in any fighting game. I'll be using some FGC lingo, so if any term confuses you, look it up in Filament's FGC glossary, and feel free to ask me questions in the comments. First off, Darius is a pretty interesting character. He's very strong and doesn't really have any nasty mix-ups compared to the rest of the characters, so he's relatively straightforward, but if you don't know how to deal with him, he can be a menace. Scrub killers, to me, I kind of think of them as sort of tutorial characters, as he has a lot of moves that need to be handled in specific ways that will solidify your knowledge of the game as a whole. Take for example Ryu in Street Fighter, right? A very basic Ryu game plan is to throw fireballs and DP jump-ins. This can be very hard to deal with, but if you know when he's going to throw a fireball, you can jump in on him. Or even better yet, if you neutral jump a fireball, since the fireball's still on the screen, he can't throw another one, which is one of those underlying mechanics about the game. I'm going to take that approach to Darius and see how we can use the game systems and like my fighting game experience to kind of figure out what to do against this character. Step 1. First, just actually play the character, right? Put the power in your hands. If you've played some matches, you probably have an idea of what moves are giving you trouble, so spend some time looking at their moves and how they work. Right, just like his normals, and especially his command list, right? So for me, I already know what moves I'm having problems with. The first being Apprehend, which is the hook move that has follow-ups, right? S2, hit this long range move that has a follow-up. And then his DP. Grievous wheel. We'll go through these in order, so skip to timestamps for a specific move if you're looking how to deal with Darius specifically. So the first move we're going to talk about is his S1. It's the hook move, which has 3 follow-ups. The light one, which is an overhead. Medium, which is the mid that applies bleed. And then heavy, which is the command grab. So the first thing I would try to do is try to see if any of these moves are punishable on block, right? The strikes, or at least negative, so I know to take my turn after. Block the overhead, -2, that means I could take my turn, right? This is also -2. He's pretty far though, and he got the bleed off, so it's not the best for you, but at least you can back off or do something, right? And then obviously the overhead, you're gonna get grabbed. I mean, the command grab, you're going to get grabbed, so you can't really punish this on block. But as with all grabs, you can jump them. So now we know we can't really punish him for doing a follow-up. So let's see what we can do when we actually block the first hook, right? And in this case, I think you should first start with using the game's defensive options. 2x KO specifically has a bunch of them. So let's see if we can use any of the options to get out of this situation. Retreating guard is always a pretty decent bet, but it looks like you can't retreating guard this. But I do know that in this game you can't retreating guard Apprehend it. So next we could try push block. Yeah, so push block also doesn't work, which is kind of crazy in my opinion. Like, why can't I spend a meter to get out of this? Like, why does he have this? Why does he have that? And then we could try to parry, right? So that works, but by playing Darius, I realized that he could actually delay this. So he could do a delayed timing. So if I'm just mashing parry, I get hit. And then he also has the grab, right? So I'm gonna mash parry. And he just grabs you. So yeah, parry, not a very good option, unless you know they're gonna go for the strike. So next I would try to like fuzzy this somehow. You could do like a delayed button or delayed jump, but again, like I said, by trying Darius myself, I found out that he can delay a strike to catch fuzzy jumping. So there's no way to get out of this, but let me just demonstrate. I'm going to set 3 recordings of him doing every follow-up, and now he's going to do it randomly. And I'm going to try to jump out. So see, if I try to jump out, If I try to jump out, he could catch me. Right, so fuzzying, you know, it's an option worth showing if they're going for grab a lot, but honestly, being in the situation is pretty bad in the first place. So if you're committed to blocking, at least block high at the very least. You have no reason to block low because it covers the overhead as well if they want to go for that, right? And then the scariest thing is like probably the command grab if I'm blocking. So you want to like hedge your bets against it because, again, if you are blocking low, you're basically losing to 2 out of 3 options, the overhead and the command grab. But also consider fuzzy jumping out to change up the timing and stuff, because if he tries to catch you jumping, you could mash him for it. So I would honestly try to fuzzy jump out sometimes if you block this. Don't do it all the time, but you know, you want to make this a little bit more interactive. Just don't let him like get off the bleeds for free and like all that stuff, right? Because if he's trying to catch you jumping out, he'll have to delay and then you could mash on him. But this is very risky, at your own discretion. Next, the best way to deal with a bad situation is to not be in it in the first place. So let's talk about common ways Darius will try to get into Apprehend, right? Generally, people are going to autopilot a heavy button into Apprehend, right? Because it goes so far, right? Look how far this goes. So first I would check to see if there's a gap between Apprehend, and I'm just going to set the bot to do it himself. So let's try retreating guard. Okay, that works. But if it's a little too close, he just yanks you back in, right? So retreating guard works. And I think if you make it whiff, you at least take your turn. It's hard to punish. Let's see if I can do it. Do it after you block heavy. Yeah, see, I got to punish. So that's pretty good if it's spaced out, right? Let's try push block now. So that works if you know they're going to go for Apprehend, but if you don't, you just kind of push them away. Which is, you know, it's decent, but you do waste a meter, so it's kind of expensive. And the next thing you could do is you can actually parry this on reaction. But it's kind of hard to punish, for me at least. And if you misspace it, you just wasted a meter like that. You got to do it a little bit closer. The parry is decent. It's pretty good to do on reaction. Sometimes you won't always get a punish, but at least you're not taking the Apprehend, right? Which is kind of nice. And normally I wouldn't try mashing on something like this, but since the special move is pretty scary to block, maybe you can prevent it. So let's just try. No, you just get hit, right? Yeah, so that makes sense. The last thing I would try doing is try jumping away. Let's see what happens. See, I blocked it and now I'm close to him. But let's see what happens if he does a follow-up. So I'm going to block after heavy. And you see how I air blocked the follow-up, which is really nice because watch what happens when he does the command grab. He just whiffs. You see that? And even if I'm down backing the overhead in the air, which, you know, you shouldn't really be doing, it can't hit you. So the best thing he could get is the bleed follow-up to put bleed on you. So this is what I mean. You don't want to block the actual Apprehend. So Darius, he can, you know, do his block strings early, but I think this is mashable. Let's try. Yeah, so if he tries to go for that, you can mash it. Representing that you know how to get out of the Apprehend mix-up, Darius has to do things and you're going to be playing the actual like mind games with him, right? Getting away from 5H is pretty decent, but we should try to backtrack and see if Darius can catch us jumping away from 5H in any way, right? So Darius has a couple special moves off 5H he could do the Decimate, which we'll talk about in a bit, and then he could do the air hook. So I'm going to have Darius here do that. We're just gonna block 5H and jump away. See, I don't even jump, right? And then he has the air hook. So let's try that. Let's try to Jump away from 5H. Is this anti-air? Okay, so he probably has to delay it. And see, he air blocks it. So that's actually not that scary either. So jumping away from 5H is pretty decent. I think the only thing you can do is he can catch you by using this 3M, right? But the thing is, it has to be manually timed to catch jumping, so it's actually kind of difficult. See, I just missed it there. Whiffs. There, I got it. So this is actually kind of hard to time, and if Darius uses this move and on block, he can't special cancel it. Watch this. So if he's trying to catch you jumping, it's a little bit harder to catch you jumping. So yeah, when you block this move, definitely represent some jump away, you know, maybe jump over him, try to net a punish and stuff. But yeah, that's how I would deal with Apprehend, is basically don't get into that, don't let him land it in the first place, right? If they know you're going to jump, they're probably going to try to get this this off, because they'd rather just bleed you. So he's set to jump right now, so now we know that you can't jump away from this move. We already know that he can't jump away from this move. So let's try some different options. I'm gonna set the bot to okay, so this move is pretty good because at the end of it you'll get bleed, right? Again, we should at least see if this move is punishable, and I already labbed this. Darius's punish is kind of hard if it's doesn't reach. So I have Ari here. Okay, Darius is cheap. So it's kind of hard to punish, especially if you're far away from him, but you can at least take your turn. See how I'm minus 11 after doing it? Blocking is not that bad. So let's try retreating guarding it, right? So yeah, if you retreating guard it when it's close, then you don't really get much, you're still blocking it. If you're retreating guarding it when it's far, you might be able to make him whiff and then run behind it. This is also really hard because you might just run into it. Okay, I got a punish. And you should try to like use different moves to see what's like your best punish, or like the most consistent punish. That didn't work. That's too small. Did that work? No, you want to look for the punish. That's too slow. In any case, retreating guarding this is really hard. At least to get a punish. It is the safest and easiest thing to do, but you have to kind of like space it properly, right? And if he thinks the second part is gonna whiff, he can kind of like delay it to catch you running forward. So retreating guarding it and maybe jumping is kind of your best bet. Honestly, this move is so big that I kind of have a hard time like recommending like getting away from it. You know, you can still push block. You can still push block it, but this move hits so far anyway that it's like kind of like, what's the point? You're like spending a meter for that, right? So I don't really like that option either. But what you can do, let's see if parry works. And I was just mashing parry, but I know by playing Darius that he can delay the follow-up. So what I'm gonna do is have him delay it now and see if I could just react to it. And yeah, this is reactable. So you'll notice on his axe, when he comes back, it has a shining red light. So if you watch behind him, you can see you could do it on reaction to that. And then to further illustrate this, you can set 3 different recordings, or maybe 2 or whatever, to do it at different timings. The first one, I'll do it fastest timing. Second one would be like a medium delay, and the third one would be like max delay. And now we have 3 different timings, and we could just see if we could do the sound reaction every time. And it'll play randomly. I was kind of late on that one, and I was just holding down back, so it's not that bad, right? Or I was holding back, not down back, when I input it. Don't like go to neutral, because you could just get clipped. But if you miss the timing, like if you're a little too late, then it's not that bad, right? Got it there. And you want to practice your punishes, right? And see how I did 2 different moves there? Again, I want to like kind of test which moves are like the most consistent. That didn't work. Okay, so my favorite thing is parry on this, right? And then by setting up these recordings, it gives you practice like actually doing it on reaction instead of like autopiloting parry when you block Decimate. What I wanted to illustrate with these 2 moves is to kind of like hedge your bets, right? Sure, like if you block Apprehend, it's kind of bad, but the best thing you could do is block high, so at least you're not eating the overhead. And the worst thing that could happen to you is you get bled, you get hit by the command grab, right? And then for this, with all the delays and stuff that he can do, and retreating guard, retreating guard is safe, but it doesn't get you much. But since you can react to it, since you can react to this, you'll get a punish, right? And you'll get your meter back. So I think this is the best option to do. This is the biggest scrub killer of them all. It's his DP. It's his down S2. This is technically not a DP. He has armor. So you can hit him out of this, actually, if we set him to wake up down S2. See how it had that red diamond? So if we set him to wake up DP and jab jab, I'll do it a little bit earlier. So I'm hitting him out of it. Again, this is a little bit hard to time. So I think what this move is trying to teach you is that to use an assist to kind of add extra hits, right? Ari's back assist is great for this. He just gets blown up, but not everybody is blessed with the queen if they don't play her. So the other assists work too. They're just a little bit harder. See how we blew right through it? What this move is trying to teach you is to use media assists to kind of like make your opponent respect your offense. And you know, they could also get up attack, but you can hard bait that, and certain characters have setups to like beat it and stuff. And media assist will eat the get up attack for you, and you know, you just bait it like normal. If he sets a get up attack, I could use my assist on his get up and just block it. And I got a punish, right? And since get up attack is a thing here, Darius they don't really use this move on get up. They use it when your block strings aren't tight, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm gonna set him to reversal DP on a block string, and then I'm gonna like delay my buttons. See how he blows right through it. So the way to beat this is to first you need to bait it out, right? The way to bait a DP out of them is to just do nothing. Basically just end your block string and then go for a punish, right? Don't make fun of my Darius combos. But a thing that Darius's will do is they will literally do this. They'll do the DP, realize it's blocked, and then mash super. Basically what they'll do is they'll like delay the super, so when you go for a punish, you'll get hit. Check this out. I go for my punish, I'm trying to mash, and I get hit. So what do we do against this? We have to think about our defensive options, right? So retreating guard, this won't work, right? You want to punish. You don't want to run away from blocking a DP. So just rule that out, right? Same thing with push block. It's super so big, it could hit you anyway. And you're not going to get a punish from that far away. We ruled out retreating guard, we ruled out push block because those aren't gonna get us punishes. So what we have left over is parry. And essentially, if you played other fighting games, you'll know about a card cancel. Essentially, if you went for your punish during this window, if you input parry during this super freeze, then the parry will override your input. Let's try to do it. I'm going for my punish. So if you look at my inputs, I pressed heavy to punish the DP, but after the super's over, you'll see that I get parry instead. So you can always go for your punish and react to the super flash with parry. So yeah, if Dariuses are doing this, make sure to make it hurt. So that's how I would lab a character. So with a bit of problem solving and understanding of the game mechanics, you can have a fighting chance against these kind of characters and these kind of tactics, and you can narrow down your option selection to kind of choose the best result. So you're just not like caught with your pants down, not knowing what to do, right? This is the most optional, but I wholeheartedly believe the best way to learn about a character is to play them in some matches. 2xk is pretty easy to get going and do this in this regard with the universal BNBs, no motion inputs. You don't need to do anything fancy, just use what you learned about the character and you'll level up. Play them in some matches. Maybe someone can show you stuff you didn't think of and they know the counterplay against Darius. Now you need to think of how to counterplay their counterplay. Maybe you could find out where Darius has problems in neutral. Like, you know, this is pretty big. So jumping at Darius might be not a bad idea. He might have problems with anti-airs and stuff, but yeah. And maybe you'll fight somebody who plays your character and they know how to deal with it really well. And just because you know how to deal with the character now doesn't mean you're going to go own all the Dariuses now, right? A good player will not try to counterplay you, and this is when you're doing like the mind games, right? And you first need to represent that you could beat their layer 1. All of this takes practice, you know, just play more games against Darius or whatever character you're having problems with, and you'll just slowly improve at the matchup. But you know, knowledge is power. So taking the character to the lab and figuring out like how to deal with certain moves and narrow down your options is gonna like speed up your learning process really fast, and your win rate against the character. And that's the end of the video. If you found this helpful, please like it, subscribe, share it with your friends. Also, if you've made it this far in the video, just let me know down below a character that you hate fighting against, or what do you think? Does Darius need it? Maybe. There's a lot of grime in this game, so maybe he does need it. I've been nugieboy, thank you for watching, and with that, I'm out.